Give me a piece. Back. Thank you.
So yeah, now I see. 32, right?
D-Docs opening it up with the tens. Koza treating himself to a peel in the +2 spot. Does have a lot of chips to contend with. I feel like he's going to think it's quite unlikely that you're going to see too much squeezing going on behind. Yermolayev again with one of these situations where his hand looks quite pretty, but really facing an under the gun open from a short stack and a big stack peeling +2. Ace-8 is going to be heavily dominated across both ranges. So electing to let it go. Ilavsky in the big blind again, another one of those holdings. King-9 that you feel like the price is good, but what do you really want to flop? A 9 high board can be up against an overpair quite a lot, as he is in this situation, and a king high board could easily be dominated by hands like ace-king, king-queen, king-jack suited in both ranges. Jack 6-8, tricky one for Docs with the tens. It's going to start with a small bet. Because they're not electing to raise. Interesting, this small bet out of position. Trying to decipher what it means. And the float is quite powerful because, yeah, the snap check after a small bet. Highly unlikely to be aces, kings, queens. Could be top set from time to time. We do have the jack, but I think the green light very much with Koza here if he can figure this one out. Hands like king, jack, tens, nines likely to play in this fashion. Maybe a hand like ace, queen of clubs. Or really any kind of king, queen, ace, queen, 2 overs to the board that's had a cheap stab out of position, snap checking turn. Ace-jack is going to be the best hand here almost every time. And I like the sizing as well. Very difficult situation for the Docsmeister and does get out the way. Nice, good read. Seglia all in, blind versus blind with the king, jack, and Koza, ace, queen. What a time to make this move, and what an unfortunate time to run into a proper hand. Koza certainly has given indications of being quite an active player. We saw him open the jack 3 earlier on. Look at this for a flop. And dead on the turn as Seglia flops the boat. Was just going to be running queens and running aces to get the job done. Unlucky that Koza didn't have the queen of hearts there. That would have been the sickener with the backdoor straight flush. Not to be on this occasion. And a double up for the only Italian left in the SpadePoker Challenger here.
Do I have chances to go all in the
You know, the thing is you just play more hands online, so you see more obscure situations. GG, and the site in particular that they're talking about is the biggest in the world. Rather unlikely for it to be rigged, not really in their wheelhouse. Bit of a conflict of interest for the company to just say, okay, this random guy from Central Europe. Let's make sure that he never wins a hand ever again. So I think it's just a human psychological thing. You think, oh God, I got so unlucky in that situation. You forget all the times you got super lucky. It's something that we all go through in this game. Elafsky with the king 6, big blind. He's going to make a pretty loose call here versus +2. Not sure I'm a fan of this. Obviously not just because I can see the ace-king. Maybe it's rigged for Elafsky. Maybe he knows something we don't. I digress. Flopping middle pair with the backdoor king-high flush draw. 110k in the middle. He's got 210. And I think generally we just want to check jam here. If we're up against an overpair, then so be it. We've still got a really high chunk of percent. Somewhere in the 30k range. Yeah, that's a really nice play. So the good thing is for a player as strong as Elafsky that even though the pre-flop call is a bit loose, he knows what to do in these situations. This is not the sort of situation to be messing around, check calling, or check min raising. We flop middle pair with the backdoor nut flush draw. Even against a hand like pocket jacks, we've got a sizable amount of equity. You know, let's get a hand like ace queen of clubs to fold. 2 overs and a backdoor flush draw. 3 to a royal. Exactly the type of situation we're looking for here. Making you so much harder to play against as a short stack, kind of reversing the advantage if you're able to pull off moves like this. Nicely played. And I think Martin understanding that people just tend to over c-bet a lot in live tournaments. And often there are small sizing deviations as well. Bosco with the tight but right fold, I think there with the ace-10 versus early position. Doesn't have an awful lot of fold equity. It's just too many players behind. I think you could shove that hand from sort of small blind. Docs is going to take a look at a flop here and looking to fade a jack-high board, as that would likely spell the end of the road for the Slovakian. But in case, why not? Reverse domination now as Docs with the top pair. WIELEWICKI, let's see if he's going to go for this 100% c-bet style strategy. It's, yeah, I like this check back. Really nicely played. The hand just, you don't achieve anything with ace-jack. You don't get a worse hand to fold. Better hand to fold. And you don't get a worse hand to call, really, in an ICM situation. So he's just going to go for the delay on the turn. And this is somewhere between a value bet and protection. Uncomfortable, but you got to call one here for Docs with the jack-9. Pretty quick call, just like the pretty quick shove with the queen-10 that we saw previously. WIELEWICKI rivers a spade here. I think he understands that his hand is going to have pretty much no showdown value on this 8 of spades, connecting with a lot of hands. But yeah, Docs shows the 9, knows that he's good. He's going to take another one down. It's been a great start to the feature table for the Slovakian. Hope I haven't come across too biased, but I really like to see Dennis take this one down. He's done a great job working in the casino for many years. Seglia with the 9s from the cutoff. All we've seen from him in terms of winning chips, Jack versus with the 9s. Bosco not taking any of it, calling it off with ace-jack suited. Needs to do something and take a stand, because just not able to kind of trundle into the money here. You're going to have to take a stand. A hand as strong as this is going to get over the line, and we have our first flip all in of the final table. King 8 deuce. No luck for the Slovakian so far, but the ace on the turn rears its ugly head as the Italians' hopes of a nice clean hold burst into flames.
Break and we're going to make a chip raise of 1,250.
So as they're counting up their stacks, we are going to be taking a break with the chip counts and the chip races being done for you. Should be back in around 29 minutes, guys. Thanks for joining the SpadePoker Challenger. Still with 9 remaining. Over to the Doxmeister, sending it home with the ace deuce. King Jack suited for WIELEWICKI. Blind versus blind for 12 bigs. I think we got a call here. Going to be dominating Jack 10s, Queen Jacks, King 10s, King 9s, doing really well against these types of holdings as well. Only slightly behind. We can see the graphics actually indicate an equity advantage. That's going to be the byproduct of some of the folded cards. Probably would have seen an ace in the muck. Wow, folding the King Jack suited blind versus blind. And Dox has got away with murder there.
King 9.
Ahmed opening it up to 50k with the ace jack of spades. One of the better holdings he's had. Not really run too hot in terms of pre-flop hands, but has certainly made some waves. Rising up the rankings, gets shoved on by Dox in +3. Not ideal with the ace jack suited here. Facing a 14 big blind rejam. Wow, that is a tricky spot. Pretty close. The issue is here with the ace jack. Do we give Dox hands that we dominate? Hands like King Jack suited, Queen Jack suited, Ace 10 suited. All of those combos quite thin in comparison to Ace King offsuit, Ace Queen offsuit, 10s plus. So the ace jack suited could well be a fold here. Not just because of the result that we could see Dox has the better holding. And facing this tank and look of frustration, he's going to know that he's got the best hand here. Aside from hands like potentially 9s, 8s, 10s. I think 10s would have called by now, but 9s and 8s certainly in a spot of bother themselves.
Very tight for you, man. I hope that.
Yeah, I think I agree with what he's saying. It feels tight, but just need to be dominating a few more holdings. Ace Jack, we're kind of pulling at straws to find hands that we're in great shape against. Most of the time, we're either going to be behind or flipping at best. And in an ICM scenario with the average stack so short, as you can see, 8.1, 10, 11, 14, 18, 19, 25, 28, 31. Yamolaev in the cutoff, picking up another hand that we're going to be surely seeing him move in with. Dox is asking for the count. It is a touch under 8 big blinds. I think King 10 suited could certainly consider calling here. He's gone for the call with the King 10 off. Taking a bit of a risk. versus the cutoff. If he calls and loses, he's down to 10 bigs. If he calls and wins, he's almost up to 30 big blinds. What's it to be jack high board? No massive significance for either player, so ace queen still out in front. 8 on the turn. The double up almost sealed for the Ukrainian. Can he fade it? No! 10 on the river for Docs. The Slovakian reporter writes off his opponent in style with a rivered 10. And here we have the first elimination of the final table, and a big exhalation for the Doxmeister. Well done, sir. Lean on the fact that people are going to be a bit more likely to want to creep into the money. And that should naturally form a big dispersion in chips between the top and the bottom of the pile, which is slowly coming into reality from what we're seeing. Players like Ahmed have risen up through the ranks by doing just that. A couple of opens that were kind of loose, but he's gotten away with them. And Koza here. 12 big blinds. Do we get a 3-bet non-all-in? Do we think that Wielewicky is the type of player that would 4-bet jam as a bluff over 110k 3-bet, something like that? Obviously fine just to take the conventional route of going all in, but certainly worth considering when you're in these situations. It's usually player dependent. Wow! Just as I'm waffling on there about a trivial situation with the ace-king, it's Bosco lurking in the shadows with the aces. And his stack goes in. Wielewicky happy to get out the way with the offsuit Broadway combo, but it's ace-king suited up against aces. And is this the end of the road for the Austrian? Oh my word, he's flopped a flush draw. Jack 6-4 looking to fade hearts. He's gone for the stand-up and he's turned to king as well, even more equity. One remaining king in the deck based on the graphics, but a bunch of hearts, not to be this time. A fake sweat for Koza, who hits the draw in 8th place. And after a rather stubborn initiation to the final table, we start to see the short stacks running into the goods. Seglia, ace-king. Exactly what he was hoping for. As the chip leader isn't even at the table. What's going on? Oh my word, and he would have had ace-queen suited, and Ahmed's got kings. That could be the most profitable smoking break of his life, or going to grab a coffee, whatever he's up to. He has just avoided losing 400k most likely, as he would have been up against kings and ace-king with ace-queen suited. It would have been a really tough job, and look at this king-high flop. Wow, sometimes the beauty of poker tournaments is there's so much hidden variance. The butterfly effect of the chip leader having been sat at the table on Ahmed's chances to win. Always welcome in a smaller field. Only 6 spots making the money out of the 41 players. Once again, well-known local player Alavsky is in the thick of it. Recently winning the Spring Polish Poker Cup High Roller, or the Super High Roller, I should say, for just under 10,000 euros. Run at the WSOPC in Aix-en-Provence, en français, oui, oui. And won another 1k High Roller at the Festival Bratislava for 12k earlier on in the year. Does really well in these 1k events. Won the PLO High Roller at the SSOP in September of last year, also for around about 10k. As Docs gets another elimination, Taborski had nowhere to go there. And had been riding his luck somewhat.
should be like that. Love it, poker.
Wielewicki all in with the Jack 10, and he's going to meet some resistance from the chip leader. Bosco just coming out on top in these confrontations so far. Is he going to find another one?
Queen.
You love to sweat, huh?
Holding strong so far, needs to fade a 10 and does, as we lose the well-decorated local player Martin Wielewicki, jumping out in 5th place for
Poker, I make him the deuce,
a decent little payday.
You're very clever, Joseph. Yes!
Dark arts.
Wielewicki now getting short. 15 bigs with the 5s. Could just jam here. He's going to go for the limp trap. Hoping that Bosco does something.
Head up.
Could see a small ISO there with the 10-3, 2.6, 2.7x. Versus the short stack Alex Nantu.
Oh, the cappuccino is actually shit. Actually, can I have a black tea, please, with honey inside?
No cappuccino?
No cappuccino.
Pozycja 4 check.
This is easy to change your opinion.
Yeah.
Black tea with honey?
Yes, please.
Pozycja 7, bet 35, bet 35. Pozycja 4, call.
So a stab from Bosco on the turn. I think he's going to look for potentially a spade to follow through on. Could represent the queen here, and it might work.
Pozycja 7, bet 200.
Yeah, he's going to go for the bet. Don't mind this decision to follow through. It's really representing only a queen or a deuce. But then hands that might be more of a natural stabs, like king 10, king jack, jack 10, are going to shove pre-flop a decent amount, depends on whether they're suited or not. Tricky spot for Wielewicki. He has to give his opponent credit for finding airball bluffs here, which isn't always easy to do when you don't see the whole card info. For this call to be profitable, you have to expect your opponent to be overly doing it versus your passivity. He can definitely have a lot of deuce X. We know that for sure. He can definitely check back the flop with those hands. Makes it a little more unlikely that he's got the queen X when the river runs out running queens.
Pozycja 4, call.
He does make the call, and sometimes bravery is going to be what you need to get a couple of these pots your way. He's really struggled with the pre-flop card distribution. It's just not been falling for him. But the stubbornness, the grit, the determination, and he finds a tricky call and is well back in the game. Wielewicki, ace-queen again. And Bosco has a hand that could do something here. He could even jam. I feel like he's going to go for the 3-bet. Oh no, just a call. Okay. Yeah, I feel like the kind of tempo and the momentum would have maybe given Bosco the opportunity just to shove there. Wielewicki's been quite active off of the short stack, and look at this for a flop. Wow. Top pair for Bosco, open ender for Ahmed. 2 overs and the nutty gutty for Wielewicky. And we have action going to a turn now. Deuce of hearts, the biggest brick in the deck, completing the rainbow board and not giving Ahmed or Wielewicky a sniff. As Bosco with his top pair, of course, leading out. So a queen on the river, completing top pair for now Ahmed and Wielewicky. Ahmed reaching for chips. Pretty thin bet here with the queen 9. Not sure I like it because Wielewicky can still have ace king. And there's a lot of combinations of ace king available here. He can also have king queen, ace queen from time to time, checking back 3 ways, very natural. Wielewicky is forced to make the call here. He's going to be seeing hands like 9-8 and Queen Jack, Queen 10 a decent amount, but he does beat value. Bosco out the way, Queen versus Queen, and the ace kicker takes it down for Poland. Ahmed left with just over 13 big blinds.
I always lose with ace king, don't worry.
Hope so.
Dama 12 król.
So Doc's made the move and Ahmed has called him off. Flops an open-ender with a backdoor club draw.
I'm sorry for my language.
No, your French is perfect.
Yeah.
Looking for an ace or a 9. No club on turn. Is it going to be Doc's eliminated in 4th place, or can he find
You know what I had last time? Or checked in the...
the miracle 9 or ace? Not to be, but a decent payday
Usually I don't.
for Dennis.
You don't want
And a
it,
well-played final table. Took the spots when he needed
So we
to.
need to bust you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a deal actually. We need to bust it. Okay. Yeah.
And we are down to 3 players. Ahmed, who was really struggling there for some
Yeah, of course.
momentum,
Yes, I understand.
ends
I'm
up
asking, you know?
with the elimination, taking out the short stack.
To know the mood.
Wielewicky opening it up. Bosco just with the defend. Really disciplined player, Bosco. He's surprised he hasn't jammed there with the ace-7. Maybe feeling like this raise first in is a little bit on the stronger side. And he's right on this occasion. Ace-king, probably a hand that could be, yeah, I think even versus a raise here, you'd probably have to get it in. 2 overs and a backdoor king-high flush draw. Could be up against draws. Have decent equity versus 1-pair type holdings. Bosco with the float, and WIELEWICKI improves to a king high flush draw. Stack to pot ratio of 1. Goes for the check. Bosco probably feels quite comfortable in his holding. It's a bit awkward to float with ace-7 here, and now are we bluffing? Are we value betting? Very murky waters he's getting himself into here, but such a small bet. Maybe trying to get a better ace to fold without a club. And a brick on the river. Has Bosco got the cojones to fire it off here? The interesting thing is here with the ace-king, it's such a great bluff catcher because all of the straight draws missed, the 9-7s, the 10-9s, the 10-7s, the 5-7s, the 5-4. Oh, the 5-4 is a straight. Ignore me. And he has gone for it. And I think there's a decent chance WIELEWICKI finds the call here. Because of all the missed straight draws, because of all the missed floats with one club, ace-king beats all of those hands. Wouldn't an 8x have raised the flop to get it in? On a low, fairly wet board? Is he really value jamming a 6? How often does he have a flush here? We block the flush. So many missed straight draws. So many floats with one club. Like a queen 10, queen jack, a jack 10, one club. Definitely could float the flop. Stab the turn for small sizing. And put us to the test on the river. He's made a couple of good hero calls on the final table so far. And he was right with the pocket 5s on the deuce, deuce, ace, queen, queen. Ah, he does fold. I feel like his intuition was telling him that he was right.
Yeah, I was thinking too. Yeah. What?
Ace-5 off for Bosco. Simply has to go.
Thank you so much.
All in second.
How much?
675 or something.
Call. Dama walet. As 5.
And WIELEWICKI's looked him up
Nie wiem, muszę chyba, nie?
with the queen jack offsuit. So here we have it.
Nie?
Big, all in, as you can see in red on the back screen. Nice little addition. And a great production so far from the Spade Poker guys, as you can expect. Quality prevails in this part of the world. Queen jack, looking for a queen or a jack.
Dycha nie robi.
That's not a queen or a jack. WIELEWICKI, can he find paint on the river to send home the Slovakian?
How much is the bird?
No. So Bosco with the Michael Doublé, and stacks once again even themselves out.
I believe it's good.
Eights for Ahmed. 80k big blind. He is going to shove. Wow, running into the Cowboys. And WIELEWICKI, after losing a pretty big all in there with the Queen Jack, now finds the dream spot. And showboating a little bit, rolling over the cards with the eye contact as if to say, I've got you, fella. and looking to fade an 8. So we would be moving towards the heads up if we don't see an 8 or, yeah, pretty much it. Jack 9 would give kings the superior straight. A 6, no good. Looking for the 8 of hearts or spades for Ahmed and the paired board. Ace 4 for WIELEWICKI. 3.2 million. Just going to start open shoving. I think this is good and correct. Queen 8 suited is very close with the big blind ante in play. Is he going to put his life at risk? He is. Bosco calling with the Queen 8 of clubs. WIELEWICKI with the Ace 4, a slight equity advantage. And it's Poland versus Slovakia. Both teams not qualifying for the World Cup, but playing for some sizable amounts of money here. Ooh, that's a gut shot for Bosco. Now a gut shot for WIELEWICKI, but completely irrelevant. He needs to fade a queen, an 8 or a 6 to win the inaugural SpadePoker Challenger, pairing the board. And it's Poland coming out on top.
The winner is...
Fists raised towards the air.
Another trophy. Thank you so much.
And he's already crowning himself. I think we need to do a bit more of an official presentation. But nonetheless, it was a great final table performance for WIELEWICKI, coming back from the death. Nice kiss for the wife, who's been in the background of the shop, patiently waiting for her man to get both hands on the trophy instead of the one that he's had for, well, at least the last half an hour or so. All smiles as the job is done, the money is secured, and the trophy heading back to Poland. SpadePoker Challenger. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Good night.